guys, welcome to today's Big Brother Over the Top updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Wilson Matthias. Thank you so much for your support. You're awesome. And if you guys want to be house guest of the day like Wilson, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Alright, so yesterday they had the Power of Veto ceremony and Danielle decided to use it on Whitney and put up Morgan in her place, which means that it's Morgan versus Shelby versus Scott for eviction this week. Morgan was completely blindsided by this move. She was pissed, she was crying, and she was talking to Alex and Shelby, and she was just like, what the frig just happened? And they're realizing they can't trust Whitney anymore because this is such like a horizontal move, you know, taking down Whitney and putting up Morgan since they're both supposed to be pawns anyway. Like, what was the point of this? So they're like, oh my god, she must have made some sort of deal with Danielle, and it probably involves, like, the care package if she gets it next week. So they're freaking out. They're really pissed that she went behind their backs and made a deal. Weren't y'all gonna get rid of her this week? Like, what was she supposed to do? Just sit there and wait for Julie, or not Julie, to evict her? Come on. So Whitney comes in. She's pretending that she didn't know this was gonna happen. She's like, oh my god, I had no idea that Danielle was gonna save me like that. And they know that she's lying. They're like, oh my god, she's the worst liar ever. So then Scott, Alex, and Shelby were chatting in the lounge room, and Scott's like, I'd really like to stay, but I understand if I am the one going, whatever. You know, he's playing for Alex anyway. It's ridiculous. So he's saying, I think I would be better for your game than Morgan would be. Scott still doesn't realize that Morgan is the sister of the person he's in love with. So she's gonna be getting rid of him. But anyway, Scott is saying that Whitney and America are probably going to vote him out anyway, so it doesn't really matter even if Alex did vote for him to stay. So then he's asking Shelby, like, is there any chance that you could maybe cancel Whitney's vote, let somebody else vote? And Shelby's like, I'm on the block too, and I have to, you know, protect myself, think of my own game here, so no, Whitney will be voting. Alright. So then Alex, Morgan, and Shelby are chatting more about how Whitney has betrayed them, and they hate it. And Alex is like, I just want you guys to know for sure that I am voting Scott out, and she's planning on letting him know ahead of time because she doesn't want to blindside him. That'd be really mean, especially since he played the dumbest game to help her, whatever. So then they're agreeing they're going to have to filter the information that they're sharing with Whitney because they can't trust her anymore. So speak of the Halloween costume devil, Whitney joins them again, and she's telling Morgan, you have nothing to worry about. You've got me and Alex voting. Even if America were to do something crazy, the two of us are going to vote Scott out. You're going to be fine. So then Morgan decides it's time to talk to Danielle, see what happens, see if she can get any information from her about Whitney. So she asks Danielle to chat, and she's just like, what happened? And Danielle tells her, you are not the target this week. Scott is the target. America gave her this opportunity to take him out, and she doesn't want to blow it because last week she feels like they were supposed to get rid of Scott. It didn't happen, or like the other week they were supposed to get rid of Scott, and she doesn't want America to be pissed at her if she does not carry out their wishes. And she was afraid that if Whitney was still up on the block, she would have gone home instead of Scott. So that's why she wanted to take Whitney down. That's what she's saying. That's what she's going with. So Morgan's like, oh, okay, I guess I feel better about that now. So then Morgan goes and tells Alex and Shelby all about her chat with Danielle, and they're still so sure that Whitney had to have made some sort of deal with the other side and, like, sold them out. So eventually Alex gets to a place where she's like, okay, I respect what Whitney did because, yes, we were going to vote her out. It's just a game. I'm glad that she's acknowledging this because it's ridiculous when people are so pissed. When even someone in their own alliance makes a game move for themselves when they were planning on getting rid of them anyway. So whatever. I don't know. I appreciate that. So then Whitney and Morgan are chatting out on the hammock. And Morgan is just like, I'm sorry I was freaking out earlier. Like, I'm really happy for you, but I was just so shocked because they thought that Danielle was going to use the veto on Scott or not at all. So then, you know, they're talking about why this happened. And Whitney is like, you know, there wasn't really a deal there. I had just told Danielle, if you use the veto on me, I'll vote out Scott. So that's what she's saying. There really wasn't a solid deal. I feel like she just said that she was going to vote out Scott. There was nothing about the care package that I've seen. If you guys have seen it, let me know in the comments. But I didn't hear anything about that, so they're assuming it's a lot worse than it actually is. But anyway, moving on. Alex and Scott were chatting in the London room, and Scott's like, I wonder if there's any chance that I'd be able to get Whitney's vote, and that if you vote for me to stay also, we can make it happen. And Alex is just like, nope, I don't think so. Whitney is totally set on voting you out. So then Scott's like, all right, I guess that's it. So he gives Alex the go-ahead to vote him out. She has his blessing. All right, so then they're trying to plan for the future because, of course, Scott wants to see Alex and Shelby go as far as possible. So they're talking about the best way to get Whitney back into their group because they're going to need her for numbers. And they realize they should tell her that Jason has been targeting her and try and pull her back in. So a little while later, they're talking about this again, and Alex is like, Scott, I think you should be the one to share this with Whitney, because she doesn't want to get involved in it. She doesn't want this getting back to Justin and Jason, so she's going to let Scott handle it. So Scott's like, all right, I'll do it. He's going to tell Whitney that Jason and Danielle approached him with this deal, and that's why she's up on the block, but we'll come back to that. It's time for a break from the game because it's the halfway party. Woo! I was just assuming that the halfway party was going to be the Halloween party that they had the other day, but no. They had pizza, like amazing deep dish pizza with all these toppings, like pasta, like macaroni and cheese or something. They had the cake with the memory wall faces on it, and the have-nots got to eat again. Damn! So that's 2 days in a row that they got to pig out on not slop. Is this Big Brother Canada? They also got some beer. I love you, Canada. They also got some beer and wine. It was crazy. And then it was time for the live DRs. So during this whole thing, there was a lot of talk about Whitney flipping. You know, has she flipped? Has she not? Was there a deal there? Obviously, the Ball Smashers are all very upset. The Late Night Jamboree's excited. They're like, yeah, if Whitney wants to come join our crew, she's totally welcome. We'll be loyal to her. And then, you know, we got to see what Whitney was saying, too. I think she might have been, like, was she the first one? She might have been the first one in there. I can't even remember now. Maybe not. I may have just made that up. So Whitney was saying that she trusts Justin the most at this point. You know, she feels really let down by her alliance. One of the questions was, who's your biggest threat in the game? She said Alex. And I don't know. It's tough to see where she truly stands right now because while she did say her biggest target was Alex, she was also like, it's complicated. Like, she doesn't want to go against her right now. And with the vote this week, pretty much everybody wants Scott out anyway, so it doesn't really show which side she's on. But if I had to guess, I would say I don't think she's completely turning on the Ball Smashers yet because she was saying later on that she does not want to win this week's HOH unless it's, like, totally necessary because she's kind of, like, riding that middle ground right now, and I think she's nervous that the Ball Smashers would put her up, but I don't see her wanting to nominate them. She doesn't want to attack them, but she is worried that they might go after her. So then, after that, it was prank time. The Ball Smashers freaking got Justin. It was great. Shelby went up on Morgan's shoulders. They put a black sheet and the witch hat on her. They turned off the lights in the London room, and they got Justin to come into the phone booth. Whitney was like, do you hear something? No. Alex was, like, tapping on this mug, and Justin was like, yeah, what is that? What is that? So they walk into the dark room. Justin sees the tall witch, and he's just like, ah! And he bolts out of there. It was hilarious. It was really funny. And I can't believe how long Shelby was sitting up on Morgan's shoulders like that. Morgan is a freaking beast, man. It was crazy. So then, back to the game. The Ball Smashers, minus Whitney, because she's kind of on the outskirts now, we're chatting, and we find out what they want to do next week. So if they win the HOH, they want to put up Jason and Justin together, with Justin as their main target, because they feel like if they get rid of him, you know, who's Whitney going to have over there? She's not as close to the other people, so they might be able to pull her back in if they can get rid of Justin now. And also, Justin's a huge threat, you know? America loves him, and he's a fun guy. So, and he's, like, super competitive. Okay, so then on the other side of the house, we got the late night jamboree minus Danielle in the have-not room. Whitney is also there as a have-not, and these people are being loud. So at one point, Shelby goes in there and she asks them to keep it down, and they're just like, no. So they go, Morgan and Shelby go and sleep in other people's beds because it's just too loud in the other room. And then the late night jamboree starts talking crap about the ball smashers right in front of Whitney. Hello? But I don't think she told them about it. I haven't heard her tell them about it at all today. But some of this stuff, it got really nasty. It was gross. It was not cool. All right, so then today, I'm not going to get into the details about that, but today, Scott is still trying to pull the ball smashers back together again. He wants to see them work together. So they're all chatting in the lounge room, and Scott's like, all right, Whitney, I want to clear up some misconceptions from this week. So he tells her, Jason and Danielle were the ones who approached him to make a deal this week. They were not going behind her back, and they are the reason, meaning Jason and Danielle, that Morgan, oh my God, that Whitney is up on the block this week. So he's saying Danielle wanted to target people who haven't received care packages yet so they'd have a greater chance of getting them. So he's saying, like, you're on the block this week because of Jason and Danielle. Whitney is like, I know, I'm with you guys, don't worry. So then Scott's kind of trying to scare her away from Justin a little bit. He's saying Jason is Justin's #1 dude and Chrissy is his #2. So, like, if you were going over there, you would be #3 with Justin, and that's not that great. And Whitney's like, I know. Like, she doesn't want them to be intimidated by her relationship with Justin. She's telling them that they're just friends, and she's trying to explain, like, Danielle probably just used the veto on her this week so that America wouldn't be pissed at her because they want Scott to go home. So then Scott is trying to, you know, motivate the girls. He's telling them, you're all strong, beautiful, intelligent women, and you gotta stick together. And he's saying he wants to see them, you know, go to the end together. He's going to be watching 6 to 8 hours of feeds a day. I don't know why, but that line was just, like, really funny to me. But anyway, he also went on to kind of, like, eulogize himself. He was like, yeah, week 2 in the game, like, nobody wanted to talk to me, but you guys gave me all of this life and laughter in the house, and I really appreciate that. And, like, it was sweet in a way, but it was also like, all right, you're not dying, okay? You're just going to be eliminated from the show, so get a grip. But anyway, tonight is the eviction. It should be a 3-0 vote with Scott going because Shelby will be eliminating 3 votes. And it should be the Late Night Jamboree, Justin, Jason, and Chrissy. So, with America's vote, 3-0 for Scott to go, unless America did something funky. I don't know. But let me know who you guys are rooting for in the next HOH competition. Should be interesting. And until tomorrow, much love.